Hey Tom, echo, testing. I think that's better. Hey Tom, here's that video I told you I was going to make for you um, on water and planes. So, anyways, go to your content manager, go down to water, click on still normal, and pretty much these are all the same, but I usually go with 4. So, there, you got your water. So, the first thing you want to do is go over to the color over here. Click on the color. You probably can't see it on my screen because it's not recording it. But your select color palette will come up and just scroll it down to black or choose the black and hit OK. So now your water should be like a dark. So whenever you add anything now, you'll see the reflections of it versus the green. So next thing you want to do is you want to go over to your desktop or wherever you got your pictures that you want to use. I'm using like a forest picture. So you just click on the picture that you want to use, right click it and then hold it and drag it in to your screen, to your project window, and then release it. And again, you won't see the little black window, but there's a few options there. You want to click plane. That will import it as like just a picture that you can move around and twist and bend, whatever you want to do with it. But anyways, just line it up. I'm going to make it a little bigger. This is just to give you an idea. It's not going to be perfect. Okay. So you want to usually line it up to, somewhere where you got a little beach or something. So the next thing is you just want to go to your scene manager and leave that open here. And click on the water. And that little file I sent you, you can use this bump map, but I just don't like it much. But that little file I sent you, just load that up. So just double click it, load it up, find it, select it, hit OK, and you'll see the bump map changes on the water. This is what I like to use. And then you can change how the water is going to look. Of course, you go to 0, it's going to be kind of ground out plain like that, just straight and flat. But we do want a little bit of play there. So just leave it like that. Now, the next thing you want to do is go to underwater fog, turn that off. You'll see right away how much clearer the water becomes just by doing that. So the next thing you're going to do is mess with all these. These are your water direction, the height of the water, etc. Self-explanatory. But the next big thing you want to mess with is the edge softness, because that's going to blend the water. And if you see how I'm doing that on the screen, it's just blending the water. So now if I leave it 100%, it almost looks like it's blended in. So I can even mess with the wave strength and just do a mild wave strength. That's going to take some play. But then the next big ones are these. This is where you're going to get your realism, or in the reflections, and you'll start seeing. You can see how on the edges here, the reflections. So underwater strength isn't going to matter because you're not messing with anything. But this also, you want to turn down because you want that crispiness. So that's how it is in the wild. Let's see, above surface strength. You will see here that it's adjusting the shadowing between the trees here. So we want to turn that down. Again, underwater strength here is not going to matter. This will also adjust the blur of the reflections, sort of. So, not much difference there. So I can go back to my wave size. Just make it till, and then we hit play. Of course, the water is much too fast. But you can see how the water is turning much more realistic. So let's turn the water down to 1. And now you have a much naturaler flow of water. And the scene looks more realistic. But we're not done yet. That's just a quick adjustment. The next thing you can do to get the next stage of realism is go into your visuals. Turn on ambient oscillation. Um, leave this 0. I usually put this at 200. And then this is where you're going to get the big bang. So now we can start adjusting colors and realism and light and all that to the actual photo to make it look more realistic. And we can just adjust these until it just has that perfect look. And now we've got a nice picture here. It's starting to look much more real. I can even adjust the height here just to blend it a little more. This is not perfect. Just running through this. I'm just trying to give it that real effect. So now this looks much more acceptable. You can always play with the blooms. You go up here to the blooms. That's going to adjust the light in between the trees. If you watch here, I'll come down and I'll slowly turn it up. See how the light? So if you're going to start working with light rays, this is one of the best ways to do it. But the more bloom you have, the exposure is going to also cause an issue because you can see the white surfaces, and that's an exposure issue. So you want to be careful about that because in the wild, it doesn't do that. Unless the leaves are wet or something, it's causing a lot of bloom. So that's what your bloom is going to do. But I'm just going for realism right now. So I'm just trying to get that real kind of look. That's definitely much more acceptable right there. Now, I can also do something else which is kind of cool with planes, using planes. So you don't have to delete that. You can just simply turn it off. Then I'm going to bring in another plane. This one's a video plane. This will give a totally different effect too. We can achieve. So all this is also is just a plane, but it's a video. So if you see and I play it, it's actually a video of a waterfall. So if I enlarge this, we're going to change the angles a little bit, but when enlarge it, you can see the people in the back. They're swimming, waving. I play it, you can see. And there's a woman walking there. Anyways, this is just an example. So I can bring the picture down right here and even have the people in there, or I can just go right a little higher and completely block them out. So now I've got a pretty cool scene, a waterfall with iClone water. And you can see the person kind of looks like they're walking in the water. And again, I'm only having a couple little things in here, so I'm barely taking any memory. But this gives you an idea of the things that you can do using planes. Now, if you want to get real technical, you can start adding plants and trees and rocks and all this and blend it in and make it even more detailed. Or if you wanted to bring in a terrain, you can go to your content, you can go to terrain. I have quite a few of them, but I'll use the normal ones that come with iClone. So say I wanted to add this one, just throw it in, and there you go. You've got water. If you want to make any adjustments to it, you can. And of course, anything you add to the scene will reflect in the water. So if you add a background, or let's say, for instance, I'll show you scene. Sorry, go to sky. I have lots of different skies, but just going to give you an idea here. I'm just going to throw this one in there. Now you can see the sky on the water too. So you have a nice reflection. You can always adjust, go back and then adjust your wave sizes right here if you want it really wavy. Give it that more reflective look. And then now that you have actual reflections from the sky, you can adjust your reflection blurs, whatever you want to do. You can just play with them until you, at the point you like it. So I can even go back and add my waterfall back into the scene, blend it into the scene, like this, and then what you do is you start adding rocks and trees and envelop this picture, and you will end up with a pretty amazing picture. And if you don't like the background, you can simply change it. Go back to my water. A little less turbulence. We can change the direction. Let's go, like, say 160. Actually, we want to go, let's say 360. No, I didn't want 36. Anyways, you can play as the direction of the water. And again, if you change your sky to something different, really all depends what you want to do. It will have an effect on how the reflections show also. You can always come in, because when you change skies or whatever you're going to do, you want to always come in and adjust brightnesses and get the best effects you're looking for. So you can see that it looks pretty cool. It's well blended. Now all I have to do is go into like botanical garden and start finding plants that are close in color to these and start adding them out here, and eventually build up a whole entire scene, and it'll look like one nice beautiful scene. So if I go in here, I go to say props, I go to trees. I have botanical garden, so I have a lot. So I can basically start looking around for stuff that matches the colors, which is not always easy, but where's my tree? Oh, that's way back there. That's huge. So I see what's going on. Let's turn off the drain. It's just get rid of it. That way there's no depth problems. This tree is huge. Luckily for me, I can shrink it down. So I have a tree now. All I have to do is start creating. But I want to make sure that the tree kind of blends in somewhere. And that's the harder part, is finding foliage and trees that match the same tones as these. But as I start matching it, you'll notice that the eye just kind of flows right into it. So now I have a tree in front of that. I can bring that tree back a little, give it some more depth, and now we have some more depth. So if I even wanted to go and, for instance, create another camera, no, I am the camera now. So now I can easily go here, go to the end of the scene, and just move in, click back. Now I'm animating straight through my scene. And it has a very 3D effect. So you can really play with planes and just water and do some amazing things. It's very simple. Just takes a little time and practice. And as you see, I only have really 3 items. One plane, one tree, and some water. And I already have a kind of a cool scene. So even if I want, I can start here. I can go, say, into the middle here. Select my plane, select camera. I can swing this way and swing back that way. So now when I hit play, I'm doing a 3D movement with 2D, with basically a 2D picture or video. But that gives you an idea of the illusions that you can create and keep things small file sizes too. You can get as elaborate as you want. You can use as many pictures as you want. You can use layers and composite shots, all kinds of things. It's pretty amazing. Anyways, just watch this a few times. This might give you an idea of the things you can do and how to do it. And if you don't want it to move, of course, you click camera, remove animation. And now you're on a still. And adjust your distance, whatever you want to do. Now this is off topic a little bit from this creating environments anyways. You can always remove everything. You turn the sky, let's just get rid of the sky for a minute. This is an easy thing that I do sometimes. I go to my project, go to the background color, turn it to black. Now it's black. Now I know you don't see anything, but hold on 1 second. Go back to content. Pick any character, doesn't matter. Just pick the default, whoever, doesn't matter. I'm going to show you. Here's some really cool stuff you can do. So you can see that you have the full reflection here, but you want to go in and go back to the water, modify the water, and now I can create an exact duplicate mirror. Exposure is a little bit too high on this. Let's see by his shirt. Zoom in. I'm just zoomed out so you can see the reflection. All right. Anyways, let me throw a motion on him real quick. Let's just do D6. Perform. Okay, this is just to give you a quick idea with the reflection. So you can see his reflection like that. Another thing you can do, it just gives you an idea how to do reflection. But when you start adding stuff, you can make some really cool effects by, let's say, oh, let me go. Let me close this. Go to particles. I'm using popcorn. Let's just use a whatever here. Let's say, okay, the music ball. This will give a cool little effect. There it is. So even if I just do a music ball, whoops. Oh, I'm on camera. That's why. Sorry. You can see it's completely reflected. So I go back to the water. And let's say I add some waves to it. Now you can see the water and the waves. You can do some cool effects. So now when he moves, but we're watching the ground here. So I'm going back to water, making it a mirror. So that's another cool thing you can do with water. The more colorful stuff you add to the background, the more intense it'll look too. Let me just find a file here real quick. Give me a second. So I'll add anything here. Let's see, something really interesting here. So again, I'm going to bring this video in as a plane. So now I have this video. Well, it looks real bright right now, but I think I grabbed the right one. You can see the reflection. So you can use water as a mirror, but you can also go in and add some waves. This is not the best video to do this with. Hold on one second. Find a better one here. This one works pretty well. Bring that in as a plane. Make it bigger. On this, I would actually add an transparency to it. I'm just giving you ideas of water and things that you can do. So you can see the water, the colors in the water. And again, adjusting the brightnesses and playing with the edge softnesses and anything you want to play with. Just adjust and see what you want to play with. Again, I'm going to go clear. So now I've got an interesting, I don't know what, something. So there's really a lot you can do with just a little bit of water and planes. Now, even if I wanted to add sky to this, let's see, gosh, I have so much stuff. Let's just say I wanted to add this background. You can see how it picks up the background now too. I can still zoom in. Just remember, when you change things, the tone maps and everything will change also. So you want to enable all that again, which will affect everything. Turn off the blooms. So there's just different things you can do with waters. So no matter what I drag into there, it'll, you'll have a nice scene. So for instance, I can bring in this video as a plane and just expand it. This is just quick adjustment. But you can see just by adjusting it real quick, I've already got something pretty cool right there. And it blends with the clouds. So if I even bring this picture up more, just so the clouds are kind of sitting there. You can have a mix of both. Now you can just add some particle clouds here and have it blended. But you can see just by doing this quick little video playing, I can just make a scene almost instantly. Now I can start adding things anywhere in here. Of course, I have to scale it all correctly, but this just gives you an idea. And of course, adjusting exposure and all that will make effects on it too. And since we have a sun in here, we can adjust bloom levels. That'll give us some nice sun effects. A little bit of haze. You can see as I adjusted this, will adjust the sun itself. What if I want to adjust? I'll just have to adjust the haze a little bit. So you see how it gets to a certain point. Like so. And then again, adjusting anything over here will always affect a lot. So you can see I can make a nice little scene. Quick and easy. Change the angles. And even change the height. I want to be just right above the surface. Just the water. Wave size, I'll bring it down. No, I like the wave. Let me get rid of that particle. So there we go. So anyways, you can play around with it all you want. There's your quick little video I owed you. Hope it didn't drive you nuts. Sorry, my nose is kind of plugged up, but there you have it. Play around.